in the last one I built, we had 15 different disciplines coming
Wow.
together to work toward this common goal of helping these patients. And so everybody comes into that with a different frame of reference, a different goal set, and so forth. Getting to know those people well enough to understand what it is that they're hoping to do and get out of the interaction, and then showing them how, if you do this, I can show you these are the ways that we will be able to actualize that for you with your participation. And then once they get into it, it becomes, or at least my experience, they actually start having fun
Yeah.
because now they see that it's going to happen, and they're interacting with these people who have really different perspectives, and it's refreshing and enjoyable. And then this energy just ramps up, and all these ideas start flowing left and right, and it's the magic happens, I guess.
It is the magic, and I see it when professors here bring their graduate students in and let graduate students engage with industry on what they're working on, their master's thesis, their PhD thesis, be it in robotics or AI or data or something, because you can't fake that type of excitement, and it is infectious. Yeah, you see companies leave here and they're really energized, and then you got to kind of get lightning in a bottle, and that's their fear, that when they get back to the 700 emails that are in their inbox, when they get back, that they don't lose the momentum that they had by coming here, because it really is, um, you know, refreshing. You have all these ideas and pathways. So, the other part of my job, leading them, is to make sure that we continue that contact and don't let it kind of slip off the priority without forcing it. So it's a balancing act. But there has to be somebody who owns the process, and a lot of times that becomes me, for both sides.
Well, Chris, now that we know what we're talking about, what it looks like to build these sorts of teams, can you share with us why being able to build these relationships is so essential for collaboration and solving these really complex, wicked problems that MIT is known for solving?
There's 1,000 researchers here at MIT, so it's absolutely impossible to know everything that's going on at MIT. So my job is broken into 3 parts: to spend a third of my time learning as much as I can about what's going on at MIT, a third of my time knowing what's going on with my member companies. I have 12 companies, government agencies that I have that are in my portfolio, and then another third is looking for other organizations that may be adjacent that can add to this type of ecosystem. It's important because, and I saw it when I first started here. You get comfortable with a small group of researchers who and you keep going back to the well, keep going back to the well. The relationships come with making yourself uncomfortable and going out and reaching out and getting to know new professors who are doing different research. And it may not be in what I would think of as a aerospace defense mindset, but you know what? It's one off, and it makes sense to my members. And sometimes when I start talking to them, like, take a look at what this professor's doing, and it clicks with them. So the trust comes from, I haven't steered my members wrong, and the trust comes from the faculty members. I kind of have to say, I know this doesn't fit in your research portfolio, but trust me here for a little bit, 45 minutes. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't. And the relationships get better sometimes if you turn around and say, hey, I missed on that one. There was no fit on it, but I understand your research much better now, and I will keep my eyes open, because all researchers are looking for sponsors and they want to engage. So, admitting when you kind of struck out is important in order to build that trust, because everything isn't a home run.
Yeah. So listening to that, what I'm hearing is having those collaborations, building out those relationships provides insurance, if you will, some buffer against stagnation, because you bring in other people's perspectives that people may not even considered. It broadens the aperture so that you have more options available that have a chance to be, as you said, a home run. Whereas if you're only dealing with a couple of people, then that really restricts your ability to see larger, perhaps more innovative opportunities.
It's one of the things that I do. I just had a foreign government in, and they were interested in space automation. Small company, small country, so they don't have a big budget. But we spent 2 days with professors, and then I spent a half a day with MIT affiliated startups that are working in the space industries. And they came in and talked about what their companies were doing. So, MIT is the mind and the hand, but these startups that were very small and born out of research that was done here, and they turned it into a business entity. really fires up some of these big organizations. So introducing startups to companies that have moved out of the theoretical into the practical, and are really hoping to partner with a bigger company to bring somebody onto their board of directors for a number of different reasons is another way to build that relationship. The relationship doesn't necessarily have to be with MIT, just the faculty. It can be these byproducts of MIT, where there's 850 MIT affiliated startups that we work with that are at different ages of maturity. They're the best poster child for what MIT produces. Like, this is a real company, and you go, how did somebody think of that, and what they're doing on a small scale?
On our podcast, usually around this time, I ask our guests to share a story that showcases where the idea, whatever the concept is, what kind of leadership concept we're discussing, was essential for success of an organization. But to me, it almost feels like in this scenario, it might be easier to discuss a story where that lack of collaboration, that lack of building a multidisciplinary team result in failure of accomplishing the mission or the target. I don't know your thoughts on that, or if you have a story that goes either way, but
I've got two quick stories on things that I would say were misses. One was a government agency, and one was a private company. And I mentioned the term before. They both approached the relationship with MIT, with universities as a transaction. On the government side, government agencies are used to scoping a problem, putting out a request for information, and putting out an RFP and getting a proposal back. They were looking at academia that way. So, this is our problem, come back and solve it. And then delegated it so far down in the organization that the person that was actually tasked with the relationship didn't have the legitimate authority really to make any decisions. So they were in the business of collecting metrics. How many times did we talk? How many different professors, how many people attended this meeting? And that's no way to measure or quantify innovation or collaboration.